We no longer require your services. You are a freeloader who works from home. My sister's remarks were echoed by my parents. I am tired of being treated as an inconvenience, along with my dog. If they continue with this attitude, I will do as I please. This marked the beginning of my plan for retaliation. My name is Kathy, a 33-year-old unmarried woman. I am employed as a self-employed web designer. I can complete my tasks with just a laptop, so I do not work outside. I have a designated area at home, and I work at my own speed. Despite having a fantastic job, my peace was disrupted 2 years ago by my father and mother. One day, while I was working at home, my parents paid me a visit. Upon entering the house, they surveyed the room and initiated the following dialogue. "Mother, this house is quite spacious. It seems like we could reside here as well. Indeed, there even appears to be an extra room. Moreover, it is wasteful for Kathy to live in such a nice house alone. Yes, let's do that." Disregarding my presence, my parents made all the decisions on their own. I had no desire to live with them and clearly informed them, "Wait a moment. I have no intention of residing with you. What are you suggesting?" My father, his face turning red, shouted at me, "You took over this house, claiming you wanted it from your uncle, trying to make it yours. There is a limit to how low you can go. I had a proper discussion with uncle, and he gave it to me. Do not make excuses. In any case, our former residence is deteriorating. Your mother and I will relocate here during the upcoming weekend. However, this residence was gifted to me by my paternal uncle, who adored me. The property is still registered under my uncle's name, but he permitted me to utilize it as I wish. As per my father, the ancestral home has aged significantly, and a comprehensive refurbishment is necessary if we are to continue residing there. My mother is a homemaker, and my father's income isn't substantial, so renovation is not feasible. That is why they have turned their attention to this property that I had inherited from my uncle. I was not particularly enthusiastic about it, but my parents had already made the decision to sell their own home and claimed to have no other place to go. I couldn't abandon them, so I reluctantly began living with them. However, as soon as they moved in, my parents started making sardonic remarks towards me. "Hello, Kathy, aren't you already over 30? Don't you have any intentions of getting married? I am currently content with my job. Persist in speaking like that, and you will never find a spouse. Why not learn something from your sister? Isn't my sister's marital life facing difficulties? Nevertheless, I am satisfied for the time being." At this point, my mother, who had been eavesdropping, interjected, "Hey, refrain from speaking ill of your sister in that manner. Unlike you, she is married and is even employed by a company you know. I may not be married, but I am also performing satisfactorily in my job. You are always just idling on your computer. You are probably engaging in futile activities. Money through some dubious methods, aren't you?" "Dubious methods? I'm earning a living through legitimate work. No need to be concerned. How dare you speak in opposition to your mother? You truly are the complete opposite of your sister." That's how it was. My parents constantly compared me and my sister. Sure, my sister works for a company, but she's just a temporary worker in an office job. I don't look down on temporary workers, but I certainly earn more than she does. I understand that people from my parents' generation don't quite grasp the concept of working from home, but it was still hurtful to be constantly belittled. Then one day, a friend of mine had a litter of 4 puppies, and I decided to adopt one of them. I named him Muffin. He's a little black chihuahua with the most adorable round eyes. When he looks at me, he wags his tail as if it might break off. Owning a chihuahua has been a dream of mine since I was a child. Working from home can be lonely, so I thought Muffin could provide some much-needed comfort. From today onwards, you're Muffin, okay? Woof. I didn't particularly consult with my family when I decided to adopt him. After all, this is my house, and I am the one who is going to bear all the expenses for Muffin, so I don't see why they should have any complaints. When I brought Muffin home, as expected, my parents and Sandy started complaining. "Hey, we didn't hear anything about you getting a dog." Exactly. Dogs have odors, don't they? I hate smells. Kathy, how could you just bring a dog home without seeking our input? We did not authorize this. As they voiced their grievances to me, I firmly informed them that I did not pluck him from the street. A comrade presented him to me. Moreover, I am the one who will shoulder all the expenses for Muffin, so there should not be any problem. What I opt to harbor in my abode is my concern. If you have any objections, you are at liberty to depart." Initially, they grumbled vehemently, their visages flushed with fury. However, within a few hours, they were captivated by Muffin's charm and began to dote on him. "Aren't you adorable? Are you mommy? Are you daddy? Or are you sis? Look over here, darling. Hold on, what happened to their anger just a moment ago? Was it all a reverie?" My entire family was absolutely enchanted by Muffin. Subsequently, they were consistently fussing over Muffin. Thanks to this, their animosity towards me had diminished, and I was able to spend relatively tranquil days. Then one day, an incident occurred that shattered this calmness. While I was out for an errand, I received a call from my sister Sandy. "Hello, come back home now." In reply to my sister's sudden exclamation, I inquired, "What happened?" She vented her anger, shouting back at me, "It's not what happened. Muffin did his business on my clothes. What if they smell? Oh, just launder it swiftly, and it will be fine. And isn't it your fault for leaving your clothes all over the floor?" "What? It's my fault? It's your inadequate training that's to blame." Enough. Muffin is still a pup, you know. If you take him out for a stroll, he won't do his duty at home. You mentioned you were thrilled to walk Muffin today. Did you really take him? Well, I was planning to take him later, and it's all because you didn't instruct him properly. Reimburse me for the garments. As anticipated, when I arrived home, my sister was extremely furious. Both my folks had been notified, and they were glaring at me, standing with Sandy. Sandy tossed the soiled clothes at me and started freaking out again. "I'm going to bill you for the cleaning cost, okay?" "Why should I?" "It's because you didn't take him for a walk and left your clothes thrown on the floor." "Shut up. Don't talk back. It's because you brought this foolish dog home that this happened. What are you going to do about it?" "Foolish dog? You were quite fond of him before. Isn't it severe to call him a foolish dog just because he had a little mishap? It's because of your inadequate training. Take responsibility. Why can't my family think of anything other than their own convenience?" While I was shocked by my selfish sister, my parents chimed in, "Hey, Kathy, shouldn't you at least apologize to Sandy first?" "That's right. All of this happened because of that Muffin you brought home." Can both of you give it a rest already? Puppies are like babies. Can't you forgive them for making errors once in a while? Pathetic. This situation only happened because of this foolish dog. Kathy, you made the right choice by not getting wedded. If you turned into a mother, I question you'd raise a respectable child. What? How dare you utter something like that? If you took him for strolls appropriately and kept the residence neat, none of this would have occurred. At last, my sibling lifted her eyebrow and indicated me, stating, "I can't endure it any longer. I don't require you or this foolish dog. Depart from this residence." "What? Didn't you hear me? I stated depart. We don't need a work-from-home freeloader here." A work-from-home freeloader? How can someone presently unemployed say such a thing? And who do they think is covering the household expenditures? It's me. As I stood puzzled by my sister's shocking statement, even my parents joined in. "That's correct, Kathy. Leave this residence. Your presence only makes us feel worse. You're a jinx." All three kept repeating, "Depart," in front of me. At that moment, my fury erupted. That's it. I've reached my limit. If this is how it's going to be, just wait. I, who had resolved to seek vengeance on my family, packed my belongings and departed the residence with Muffin. In the end, my sister added fuel to the fire. "This is all your fault, you know. If you had just listened to me obediently, none of this would have happened." They still didn't seem to comprehend their situation. Even though hell awaits them, well, never mind. You three enjoy yourselves in the residence. Suppressing my grinning mouth, I left the residence with Muffin. A few days later, as anticipated, my sister abruptly called. "Kathy, assist. The residence is..." What occurred to the residence all of a sudden? We were instructed to vacate by the end of this month. So what? So what's the issue? What do you mean, what's the issue? Why do we have to depart? Well, I've chosen to put up for sale the residence. What? At my words, Sandy seemed to freeze. With a trembling voice, she barely managed to say, "What does that imply? You've chosen to sell it? You don't have the authority." "Well, I do. You see, that residence has been mine for a month now." "What?" "Yes, I had officially received the residence from my uncle. Of course, the title is in my name." It's no surprise that Sandy was shocked. You're kidding, right? Even if the title was transferred to you by uncle, you can't just sell it so easily. I was concerned too, but right after you told me to leave, I consulted with uncle. He said, "The residence is yours now, Kathy. Do what you want. You should get away from that foolish family as soon as possible." What? No way. Whether they'd been listening to my conversation with Sandy over the phone speaker or not, my parents started to make a fuss. "Hey, Kathy, cut it out. We have no other place to live if we leave the residence." That's right. It's unthinkable to do this to your own family. If you're a good daughter, show some regard to your parents. Regard? I asked them with a quiet voice. "What are you talking about? You've always looked down on me. Compared to Sandy, who do you think has been supporting your life for the recent years? You all had no place to live, so I reluctantly allowed you all to reside with me." With an unusually strong manner, my parents were speechless. Without waiting for a reply, I continued, "Who mistreated me and Muffin like pests and evicted us? It was you folks, wasn't it? Trying to find joy by driving out the original occupant is disgraceful. You individuals belonged in hell." At my outburst, my father pleaded, "Please assist us. We're apologetic." "I don't care. Take care of yourselves, you fools." With that, I ended the call with a loud click. Then, I blocked every family member's contacts. Seeing me raise my voice, Muffin looked up at me with a concerned woof. I embraced Muffin tightly. "I'm sorry, Muffin, for yelling. It's all right now. I will protect you." I'm really relieved that I was able to rescue Muffin from that family that mistreated him so badly. Later on, it appears my parents and sister were compelled to leave the house at the last minute despite their desperate clinging. With my father's modest earnings and my unemployed mother and sister, there's no way they can live a respectable life. According to the rumors, my sister is constantly being pestered by my parents to find a job. Their family relationship seems to be deteriorating. Although I have no interest in their way of life, there's no doubt that their standard of living has declined since I departed. This is indeed the case of getting what you deserve. Serves them right. Meanwhile, I'm spending my days in satisfaction with my adored canine in a fresh pet-welcoming flat. I am able to work at any time I desire, and nobody can object to it any longer. I can utilize my income exclusively for myself and my canine. I am incredibly content with my current existence. Muffin, shall we visit the canine park today? Woof! Muffin appears more energetic. Perhaps it's due to the departure of that loud family. From this point forward, I aim to safeguard Muffin for the duration of my life and live a tranquil existence.